The search continues for what authorities are describing as a college-aged suspect in the shooting death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And today marks 24 years since the September 11th attacks. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Authorities in Utah have held a news conference to discuss yesterday's shooting death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Utah's Commissioner of Public Safety, Bo Mason, says officials have an idea of what the suspect may look like.
We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
Authorities say they believe the suspect is a person who is college-aged. They say they've recovered the weapon used in the shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle discovered in a nearby wooded area. Steve Futterman reports from Orem, Utah.
For a while yesterday, law enforcement officials thought they might have the gunman, but after intense questioning, the person was released. Utah Governor Spencer Cox.
To whoever did this, we will find you.
Last night, many were making a pilgrimage of sorts to the school, including Chris Stomas.
It's shocking, to be honest. I would not have expected this at all.
All classes have been canceled until Monday. For NPR News, I'm Steve Futterman in Orem, Utah.
2 students have been wounded after another student shot them at a high school near Denver yesterday. Colorado Public Radio's Alejandro Alonso Galva has more.
3 teenagers were shot, including the gunman, by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He died later at the hospital. A 4th student was injured during the evacuation. Law enforcement says the suspect was a student and used a handgun, but a motive remains unknown. Jen Weber is a parent of a freshman who was able to escape. When she heard about the shooting, she went running through the woods to try and reach the school.
I actually had no idea. I was out washing my car, and I just got a text message from him that said that there was a shooter and that he loved me.
A vigil was held at Flatirons Community Church in Golden Wednesday night as the state comes together in the wake of the shooting. For NPR News, I'm Alejandro Alonso Galva in Denver.
Officials in Poland and with NATO say they are awaiting the results of a military assessment. They have not yet decided on a response to more than a dozen Russian drones that flew into Polish airspace early yesterday. NPR's Rob Schmitz has more.
Polish authorities say they found the wreckage of several drones. All of them were the Shahed-style attack drones Russia uses in its attacks on Ukrainian cities. A spokesperson for the prosecutor's office in Lublin, a city near Ukraine, says the drones found so far were unarmed so-called dummy drones used by Russia to fool Ukrainian air defenses. Russia's defense ministry said it had not planned to hit any targets in Poland and suggested that Poland was out of range of its drones, which is not true. The incursion has reignited safety concerns over the vulnerability of civil air transport in Europe. It was the first time in the history of NATO that alliance fighter jets engaged enemy targets in Allied airspace. Rob Schmitz, NPR News, Berlin.
A South Korean charter plane is waiting in Atlanta to bring home hundreds of detained South Korean workers. They were swept up in a U.S. immigration raid on a Hyundai plant last week. There's concern the sweep could stop South Korean companies from doing business in the southeastern U.S. From member station WABE, Marlon Hyde has more.
Hyundai has said it's investing $26 billion in the United States for the next 3 years. Choi Stang-run is the former director of the Hyundai Motor Korea Foundation Center for Korean History and Public Policy. He says the raid on the auto plant could jeopardize future investments.
We're going to see not just Korean firms, but I think foreign firms more broadly be more cautious about their workers they're sending to the United States to try and help set up facilities.
He says South Korea has also committed to investing billions more into the U.S. Meanwhile, some companies are asking workers to avoid traveling to the U.S. For NPR News, I'm Marlon Hyde in Atlanta.
Mourners in New York City have gathered to pay respects to the victims of the September 11th attacks. Today marks 24 years since the September 11th attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people and launched the United States into 20 years of war. NPR's Quill Lawrence reports from New York City.
Dignitaries and family members of the deceased gather each year in Lower Manhattan at what is still called Ground Zero.
A memorial now lies where the Twin Towers collapsed after being struck by hijacked airliners on the morning of September 11, 2001. A plane also struck the Pentagon in Virginia, and another crashed in Pennsylvania after passengers rushed the cockpit. The American retaliation, dubbed the Global War on Terror, lasted 20 years in Afghanistan and continues in the Middle East under a congressional authorization for the use of force passed in 2002. Those wars have cost the lives of thousands more American troops and hundreds of thousands of mostly civilians across the Muslim world. Quill Lawrence, NPR News, New York.
Federal immigration officers continue their operations in Chicago. There have been arrests, and immigrants are worried. From member station WBEZ, Adriana Cardona-Magigad has more.
Chicago residents have filmed arrests and shared them on social media. Ana Gil Garcia with the Illinois-Venezuelan Alliance says many Venezuelans in the area are afraid. The Trump administration changed the rules for Venezuelans who had been allowed in the country under asylum, humanitarian parole, and other programs during the Biden administration.
The Venezuelan community is hiding. They cannot go to work. They have to remain at home, and we don't know for how long.
Gil Garcia says she's been getting calls from people whose family members were arrested at immigration court appointments. For NPR News, I'm Adriana Cardona-Magigad in Chicago.
As fall draws nearer, many people are thinking about vaccinations for flu and COVID. But NPR's Sydney Lupkin reports it may be harder to find COVID shots this year.
The Food and Drug Administration's approvals for this year's COVID boosters are narrower, but drug companies say they're still making similar volumes of the jabs as last year. Claire Hannon is the executive director of the Association of Immunization Managers. She says pharmacies are able to order the shots and they've been shipped out.
I think it's going to be harder to access, but I think anybody that wants it, will be able to get it, but they're just going to have to work hard to find it.
She says patients can use vaccine finders, which Pfizer and Moderna both have up and running, to find pharmacies with COVID shots in their area. Sydney Lupkin, NPR News.
The British government has dismissed its ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson. Leaked emails have disclosed Mandelson expressed close support for late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This comes after Senate Democrats lost a vote yesterday. Senate Republicans rejected the Democrats' effort to force the Justice Department to release all information into the Epstein investigation. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the Trump administration is going to stop letting motorists in electric vehicles and other clean cars use carpool lanes. The governor says that means carpool lanes will only be reserved for vehicles with more than one occupant. The change takes effect October 1st across the country. This is NPR.